What's up, Giants fans? What's up, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's your boy Noname back at it again with another video. Welcome back. We got a nice one today for y'all. The Giants OTAs off-season team activities started this Monday, May 20th. Something I'm real excited for. It's really the first time we get to see both the offense and defense, like almost the entire roster, show up on field and practice until summer camp, of course, summer training camp, where we get to see them with pads. But this is really the first taste of what the team is gonna be like in the next coming months. Something I'm really excited about. So, like I said, we have day 1 and day 2 already finished. Have a lot of good news for you all. Not really any type of bad news, just some nice old reporting for you guys. So first things first, let's start off with the quarterbacks, the juiciest position, the position that's going to definitely be most talked about up until Eli retires. Let's talk about a little bit of Eli Manning and Daniel Jones. Now then, day 1, in terms of performance from Eli Manning, it was an okay performance. You had a lot of balls sailing through the air, going deep, and sometimes being overshot, going over the receivers' heads, most notably. Some of them went flying over Sterling Shepard's heads. Daniel Jones had the same type of issue. I think it might have been the wind at MetLife. They play at the Quest Diagnostic Center, which is right next to MetLife Stadium. It's a pretty windy place at times. But in general, the quarterbacks, they had a rough day the first day there. The secondary benefited off of it, of course. Sam Beal, undrafted. I almost said undrafted. Sam Beal, the cornerback we got in the supplemental draft last year, who was unfortunately injured and we didn't get to see him perform his rookie year, had a nice day out. His most notable play was when he tipped the pass from Eli. He tipped it straight into Jabril Peppers' hands, and they basically ran it back for what would have been a pick six, I guess you could call it. Obviously, they're just on an open field practicing and whatnot. The secondary in general had a good day. Even Alec Ogletree had his hands up there touching, trying to snag some balls and all that. But the quarterback position, what I really wanted to talk about was Eli's press conference during OTAs. Of course, there was a lot of questions pertaining to him and to Daniel Jones. And Eli being Eli, he does what he does. He answered them correctly almost all the time. He always gives the correct answer, which is good, you know. But like he was asked, for example, what does he feel, or what does he think about having to be now a mentor in addition to being the starting quarterback of the New York Giants? And he responded with how I feel about the situation in general. I'm gonna paraphrase here. He basically said that it's not his job to hold Daniel Jones's hand, or anybody's hand for that matter, and teach them every little thing. Yes, he is gonna help them. He loves to see when they're willing, but they need to do their part and also pay attention. Need to be on the grease board, need to be in the film room and all that, you know, just pick up from the actions of Eli and all that. And he says it's no different from how he's been a mentor for the past couple of years, which is right. It's different this year because the Giants took a quarterback in the first round, but we've drafted quarterbacks for the past 3 years in a row now, whether it's in the 3rd and 4th round or the 1st round. So it's not the first time he's had to be in that mentor type of position. So he responded to all that like as Eli would. He mostly kept it a bit short and brief, and he likes to give off the vibe as though he's not under any pressure. In fact, there was a question like that. I think one reporter asked him if he feels that he's under a different type of pressure, a new kind of pressure, now that there's somebody behind him that could quite possibly take his job. And he said no, he doesn't feel any type of different pressure. I don't know, Eli, maybe you should be feeling a different type of pressure, because it might not even be in Coach Shermer's hands. At some point, it might be in the fans' hands as to who starts, because you've got a rowdy New York fan base here that's been impatient for a while now. I wouldn't be surprised if just after one slip up they want your head and all that. So that's just a little bit about the quarterback position. Something I was not surprised about, but others was that they had Eli and Daniel performing with the same group, and performing in the same group drills and group activities as opposed to Lauletta and Tanny. I'm not surprised, because that's your starting quarterback and your backup right there, in my opinion, Eli and then Daniel. And what I mean by the same group is that they practice with the starters most of the time, only very few reps with the backups and 2nd, 3rd string guys. So I was surprised by that, really. Another takeaway from the first day was Janoris Jenkins. I believe I mentioned it in my scheduled prediction video, how I think Jenkins, and probably another video as well, I think Jenkins is still a top corner in the league. He just has had the two up and down years in 2017 and 2018. And 2018, something terrible happened. There was a murder at his house. His brother was found dead and all that. So that does have a mental effect on you, in addition to him just generally going through the aging process. But I think he might have a bounce back year this year. He was talking to reporters about being him also being just like a new mentor, being a veteran. He's the oldest person in the cornerback room now, in the DB group, and the defensive back group is completely packed this year. He said he's never been in the position before because he's always been one of the younger guys, but he looks forward to it. He looks forward to teaching them and helping them. He looks forward to whoever ends up lining up parallel to him when the season comes, whether it be DeAndre Baker, Sam Beal, Julian Love, whoever it is. He looks forward to it, and he said 2019 is the year of Jackrabbit. He's going to try and make a comeback, something I'm very excited for. I love to see that energy out of him. Love to see that he believes he still got it, because I also believe he still got it. He's only 30, and he's only 2 years removed out of his Pro Bowl season. I think he could have a great season this year. Someone else we shouldn't really forget about is running back Paul Perkins. I spoke about this in my Mike Remmers and Rod Smith video. I completely forgot that Paul Perkins was on the Giants roster, and that's because after he had the starting gig as running back in 2017, he got injured in OTAs last year, or training camp last year. I can't remember which one, but he basically had a pectoral injury and knocked him out for the entire year. We haven't seen this guy perform since the 2017 season, since the last major overhaul of the Giants. And so everybody sort of forgot he existed. Perkins was a good back for us, a very average running back. I think he's a better receiving back than he is, say, an actual running back. Whether it be he relies on his power or his speed, I just think he has better hands. And we haven't seen him, how he performs compared to Wayne Gallman, really, or how he compares to Saquon. I mean, I don't think he's going to take the starting job from Saquon, but I think now that second position is really going to be a competition between Wayne Gallman, Rod Smith, and Paul Perkins. And given what we saw from OTAs, he performed pretty well. They said he came back. He looks like he hasn't really lost a step. He's out there looking good. He still has his good hands, and now he has a little bit of an improved burst. I don't really know what to say about Perkins at this point. I'm really comfortable with Wayne Gallman as our number 2. Our number 3 is up for debate. Maybe it's Rod Smith, maybe it's Paul Perkins, maybe it's Jonathan Hillman, the undrafted free agent. I just want to have a good rotation of backs so that we have Saquon doing his thing, but him not being run into the ground and just running out of steam too early in his career. As long as we could have that balance, I'm fine with whoever it is at that third running back position. Now, real quick before I move on to the second day of OTAs, something I just wanted to mention. OTA attendance has been surprisingly well. Of course, as everybody knows, OTAs are a voluntary practice. Teammates show up, and the players show up if they want to. There's nothing mandatory about it. In fact, the only reason attendance is kept is so that the team has an accurate roster to represent to the media, and so that it could keep track of whoever moves up and down that roster. But for the Giants, I'm glad to see that basically everybody showed up. For the first day, the only 3 noticeable players gone were Dalvin Tomlinson, Dexter Lawrence, and Antoine Bethea. But the only reason for that is because they had weather issues with traveling, and they were back there on day 2. I mean, I'm just glad to see that the entire team is there for a voluntary practice. I love to see it when guys put in the effort. They put the team ahead of themselves. They try to gel together. They try to really work and just squeeze as much juice out as they can out of everything that they do. With that being said, let's hop into day 2. Now, OTA day 2, weather-wise, was something I really liked. In case some of y'all don't know, the New York, New Jersey area, the weather is really wonky. On day 1, it was 80 degrees, nice, sunny, not too windy. Day 2, it was like completely the opposite. I remember walking to school, it was like 60-something degrees outside, but extremely windy. I mean, really windy. And where I go to school, there's a bunch of tall buildings. I go in Manhattan, in New Jersey, the area that the Giants Stadium is. It's more flat-ish. The wind travels a lot more. You get hit by the wind more. So it was a windy and cool day, a lot more representative of what it's gonna be like in the fall. And that's why I liked it. It's disturbing, of course, but we're not here to talk about the weather and all that. So despite the winds, the quarterbacks performed better than they did on day one. Both Eli and Daniel had some really nice throws. Eli used his veteran prowess to get a deep ball down to Sterling Shepard that would have been a touchdown. If it was a game, he put it perfectly over the defender's head, straight into Shepard's arms, put him in stride and all that. Just the wind seemed not to affect Eli at all. He used that experience and that knowledge to his advantage. He's been playing here for 15 years now in this weather, and it didn't really affect him at all. Just in general, Daniel Jones had some great throws out there too. Nice throws to the rookies, nice throws to everybody. They actually delivered to both Shepards really well. Eli to Sterling, Daniel to Russell. Day 2 was where the edge rush sort of showed up a bit more, or pass rush in general. While there isn't live contact during OTAs because they're not wearing any pads, there was several guys that were spotted in the backfield. A couple of guys that could have gotten run stuffs on Saquon Barkley if they were allowed to tackle. Most notably, Kareem Martin, O'Shane, and Marcus Golden. These guys were spotted in the backfield a couple times, and then BJ Hill and Olsen Pierre would have gotten some stops on Saquon Barkley if tackling was allowed. But I really hope that this is reflective and indicative of what it's going to be like when season comes. Hopefully we see more of this during the summer training camp when you're allowed to get tackling and all that, because it is something that we've heard almost every year, that the Giants' pass rush is improving, and I do really believe it's improved this year, but we never see it in the regular season. It just goes missing in the regular season. Tight end Evan Ingram and safety Jabril Peppers were up against each other all day, and you know the old saying, iron sharpens iron. I think this is a bit more beneficial to Jabril Peppers than it is to Evan Ingram, and that's not to say Ingram won't benefit from this at all, because Peppers is a good safety. The reason I say it benefits Peppers a bit more is because while he does have good coverage skills, going up against one of the fastest, if not the fastest tight ends in the game, really helps you hold your own against him, really helps you to improve your game. And that's exactly what Peppers did. He held his own against Evan Ingram. He tried to get his hand on some balls. He dropped one that might have been an interception, but I don't mind it. He's just putting play on the ball. On the first day, he had that tip pass for an int. I just like to see him improving. And like I said, iron sharpens iron. If he's holding his own against Evan Ingram consistently, he will be able to hold his own against any other tight end in the NFL, mark my words, and that is because of the speed of Evan Ingram. Yes, strength is a different story, but Jabril Peppers is a strong guy, so I'm not worried about that. Going back to the two Shepards real quick, Sterling Shepard quickly proved that he was the most elusive receiver on the field. He was definitely the slippery target there. It was very hard for any defensive back to keep cover on him, keep track on him. That's why he had made the most catches. That's why he is considered our number one guy now, ahead of Golden Tate, if you will. I consider him the number one guy now. He's had the most experience in this offense, which is another point I want to bring up. He is now on the Giants roster, the receiver that's been there the longest. So in a way, it makes him a mentor. He's still very young, and I guess you could consider him a veteran, but he's now a mentor and probably a leader in that wide receiver locker room. We don't have a lot of leaders right now in the Giants locker room, but for the ones we do, they're great guys, and I expect great things from them. Russell Shepard, on the other hand, all he did was show his veteran savvy. He on the line of scrimmage, this dude was calling out blitz. He was letting receivers know, letting the quarterback know what's going up on the defensive side. He was just out there using his knowledge more so than his physical abilities, which of course is still good. Still good. Last thing I want to talk about, I mentioned how I love the fact that we have a lot of guys here. Basically, every single person on the team is accounted for at OTAs. I love to see that with the team. They're playing better with each other ahead of their vacation time, which is something I would never ask of anybody, because your off-season time is for your off-season. You need to rest. You need your body to recover and recuperate. But it just makes me happy to see that they're willing to make these sacrifices. They're willing to go out there, put their bodies on the line and all that for the sake of the team. The one thing I want to talk about now is the fact that they're having fun while doing it. The energy is being kept high at OTAs thus far. One of the best examples I got for y'all is the friendly trash talk between the DBs and the wide receivers. Once again, like I said, it's friendly, but it's trash talk. it keeps the energy high. It keeps everybody on their toes. It keeps everybody motivated to do better against each other. Iron sharpens iron. These guys are out there having fun. They're out here doing what they love. They're out there playing football, and it builds my hopes up for this team a lot more. Call me naive if you want to, but I'm just an optimistic guy. I wasn't optimistic about us initially going into the offseason just because I thought we were really going into a heavy rebuild, but after the draft, after reconsidering a lot of things, after free agency, looking at the guys we have in our room, I'm very confident with this team. I'm very happy with this team. I like what we have, and I like our chances going forward. That's it for today, guys. Just a normal OTA report. I have another one out on Sunday, with the final day of OTAs this week is on Thursday, so I'll have one about that out on Sunday. Let me know what you all think. Let me know what you think about the morale of the team. Anything notable that I missed. Comment, like, share, subscribe. That's all. You're